Welcome to Pitch in the Zone, the place where somebody gets a chance to pitch for 3 minutes and then gets feedback with tips and suggestions on how to improve. We have Marco, who has agreed to be a timer today. He will switch to a countdown time of 3 minutes. This is mostly the benefit of the speaker. Once you reach the 3 minutes, we ring a bell and switch off your micro. No. We'll just switch over to a count up timer so that we see how much you would have gone over if you do go over. All right, so with that, our presenter today hails from Chennai, India, Mr. E. Vijay Raghavan. He has graduated in mechanical engineering and currently works as an assistant professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering at the SRM Institute of Science and Technology. His motive is to bridge the gap between industry and academia. And today's pitch is intended for an audience of industry experts to motivate them to spend more time in academia. With that, the floor is yours, Vijay. Thank you.
Thanks for the introduction. Let me share my screen. Yeah, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. So, dear participants, greetings for the day. This is Vijay Raghavan. So, as industry experts, do you think that industry and institutes are working together? As my experience, there's a huge gap between the industry and the institute, which has to be minimized, and there should be some overlap between the two major domains. Industry and the institute are two major domains working in different space. They have their own raw materials and they have their own products to the market. So the important fact for this pitch is a small comparison between the graduates from India and US. About 1.5 million graduates are from India every year compared to 0.1 million from US. And out of these graduates, nearly 80% of the graduates are unfit to get a technical job. This is based on a survey. And what the corporate strategy is, they want the income from the graduates from the day one of their employment. So to do that, what can be done? So there should be a bridge between the industry and academia. So the industry requirements must reach the academia. So also the technology what is used in the industry must go into the academia, so the students will get the ease of it. So few solutions for this issue is the curriculum has to be developed which meets the industry requirements. So in this regard, the experts from industry should step into the academia to share their technical knowledge and what they expect from the young graduates. And the current scenario in education concentrates most on theory-based lectures that have to be overcome with skill-based education. In any industries prefer students, graduates who are good in technical, in addition to the technical knowledge, they prefer students who can make quick decisions and the product development and reasoning. These are the major skills which are expected from the graduates by the industrial experts. And the other solution will be workplace exposure to the graduates in form of internship, project works, and the industry experts can conduct some hackathons where the students will be able to understand the real-time industrial problems. And during the campus interviews, many organizations prefer marks rather than knowledge, which has to be eliminated. So my major conclusion is the theory-based teaching in academia must be overcome with real-time case studies, and the industry experts should step into the academia to share their technical knowledge and skills to the students. In these things, I expect the alumni and parents who are mostly in the industrial scenario to help academia to support us in developing industry-ready graduates. So I hope you, the experts, will provide assistance for us to do that. So my details are there with you for connection. Thank you. Thanks.
Okay.
Excellent. Great job, Vijay. Really, really good. Vijay and I, we worked on this a little bit before, simply to just trim it down. And I know you didn't have too much time to invest and spend on some of the aspects. So, feedback. Maybe we start with Nathan today with 1 or 2 points that you've noticed, and then go around to make sure that Vijay gets as much value of this meeting as possible.
Fair enough. Thank you for doing that. My main point is that I really like what you're trying to do here in terms of building that bridge between academia and business, or industry as you call it. The one point that I hear you kind of inch towards, but feels like it should be your entire thesis, is that unless industry comes to academia to tell us what they want from these students, how can we prepare these students for what the industry wants? We do our best, but we can do better if all you did was come in here and share this, 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 and this to help us make better prepared students. I would really focus more of what you're doing around that and make it about, hey, you guys got to get in here. We've got the world, we got the institution, we've got the books, we've got the training, we've got the professors, but we need your wisdom. And more importantly, we need your expectations. If you tell us what your expectations are, we probably could get the students more prepared to provide value on day one. That's, I think, my overall general feedback. And then the only other thing to say for now, and then I'll give it over to somebody else, is it looked like you were using 4:3 format slides. And today you want to go into the 16:9 because you have more use of the real estate on the screen, and it'll fill up the screen better.
Thank you. Thanks for the suggestions. Surely I will use a bigger slide for the next presentation. Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome.
Excellent. Thank you very much for this feedback, Nathan. And I'm sure we can circle around towards the end and let you take the lead one more time.
Okay.
If there are any issues that we do not cover with the other people on the call. Who wants to provide some feedback next? Chris, Massimo, Scotty. Yeah, Chris, perfect.
Sure. You know, my impression of what industry likes to hire is obviously they like people who are smart, and they like people who have learned in university, but their number one priority is usually hiring leaders. And you alluded to that in your talk, but I didn't see any real mention of, you know, if you want to hire leaders that are appropriate for your business, you know, similar to what Nathan said, you know, please come in and show us what you're looking for.
It's also what we call a reverse pitch in the startup world. Instead of the startup pitching to the corporate pitches to the startup. That way the startup knows what to build for the corporate instead of trying to make something up.
Excellent observation. Thank you very much, Chris. Anything else that you have noticed? Yeah, Massimo.
Yeah, just very small technical details, very small, but you know, I tend to focus on details too. In the first slide, you have circles, and the bottom ones were pretty bad. So in a way,
Oh.
maybe nobody cares, but the fact that the ones on the top were good, it means that either you were lazy or, so either all of them bad or all of them good, right? Don't mix and match them. Second thing, in the other slide, you wrote MN as a shortcut for million that I never seen it used. Is in a technical world, it's either a capital M or you have the space, write million, write millions, that's fine. People would stop, say, what is that M? Oh, a million, it don't confuse people. The third one, in the latest slide, when you have so many points, 5 or 6, to me, it would look better if you just present one line after the other. And it's very easy to make it in PowerPoint or whatever you're using. You create the full one, you copy and paste the same one 5 times, and you erase one line every time. So every time you speak, click, 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 and you see the line appearing so the public can follow what you're talking about. But so I've just focused on those small details, and we have way better people to talk about the content than me. So.
Oh, no, don't sell yourself
your
short
feedback.
there, Massimo. And, as they say, the devil is in the details, and it sometimes is those small little aspects that turns somebody on or off. So very, very glad that you are actually paying attention to those smaller details.
Mhm. Mhm.
Now we have another person here, Scotty. And for those that do not know, Scotty is actually an accent reduction specialist. Someone that a few people on this call can use, including Massimo, myself, and anybody else that didn't grow up speaking English. So, Scotty, what are your observations that you have made, and can you share some tips with our speaker today to help him become more, how do you say,
How do you say?
there goes the word.
Rhythmic, maybe a little bit more fluent.
Oh, that's what I was fishing for. So please take it from there and tell us.
Absolutely, and yeah, and thank you for the introduction. And yes, I think it's great what you're doing, Vijay. It's a wonderful way to try to bridge the gap. Just a couple of things on the slides, along what Massimo was saying. Using the fly-in for some of the slides is more helpful, so you can see it build. And I know on PowerPoint you can use a fly-in action, which is pretty easy to set up. Just makes it more visually appealing for people to follow along with what you're saying. Also, I can't remember which slide it was, but I noticed it finally registered for me when you were looking at the other solutions. I think the title of the slides were other solutions, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or you said other solutions, but the title said few practical solutions. So there was kind of a disconnect for me from what I was hearing versus what I was seeing. And I think I'm getting to some of the other points that have been made. What was your ask? Like, you're trying to bridge this gap, but do you want industry to come in? It's like, please, we want you to join us. What do you want to have happen with this specific audience? You need to get an ask in there somehow, an invitation to meet with them or come visit, right? Come sit in on the classes, sponsor a program, that kind of thing. And then in terms of the fluidity and language, English is a stress-timed language. And so that means that we use, stress is placed very particularly on key vocabulary words and also within sentences. And a lot of the languages from India are more, I think of them as being more staccato. So a sentence might sound like da 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 da, as opposed to da 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 da. So they're very different rhythms. And one of the things you can do is really observe native speakers. Like maybe you watch Tony Robbins on one of his talks, or other industry experts, or things that you're interested in anyway that apply to what you're studying. So you can get the natural rhythm of how the words flow, because it leads, we lead our audiences in English with these up and down tones, and sentences are relatively flat. Questions, yes and no, go up at the end. So there's some rhythmic things that would help you. And then also some key vocabulary things. And I can send you an email offline with links to the American English dictionaries. So getting the pronunciation right on some of that for general listeners would be helpful. Just polishing the pronunciation. And one word in particular is academia. So the stress is on the E and it's a long E, so it's academia, not academia. And that can kind of throw your listener off because I'm listening for a word and it sounds different. So that kind of thing will help you just polish it up to make it even more effective.
Okay. Sure, man. Thanks for your feedback.
Wow, very good, very good. Thank you very much, Scotty. And I saw we had a little bit late coming, Natalia. Did you hear the speech, Natalia?
Yeah, I think so.
Did you hear the pitch?
Yes, I heard the pitch. I watched the
Do you have any
slides.
feedback for our presenter?
Yes, I thought that the slides themselves could have, aesthetically, they could have been a little bit more polished. I think that lends to your presentation, because when you are giving us both audio and visual, people tend to go with what they can understand better. And in this instance, you know, with your accent and probably maybe, you know, the technical nature of what you were telling us audibly, visually, we were drawn to the screen. And so if you could polish up those slides, put, you know, maybe some branding in there, because like, for example, I saw different fonts, maybe different colors. If you could get sort of a flow with your slides, then it would resonate more and be a little bit more memorable and allow people to receive your message better. Because I was also a little bit confused about what you were asking us to do at the end. I didn't understand. I mean, I got the general nature of the fact that we need more industry leaders to come in to teach, but then I didn't really understand what was your actual point.
Excellent feedback all around. Thank you, everyone. Let me add one more thing, and this is something that I am very, very picky about, and that is enthusiasm. Because if you think about what a good pitch is, well, you may think you inform, you may think you educate, you may think you're selling, you may think that you're persuading. But ultimately, what you're really doing, no matter what you're pitching, you're transferring enthusiasm. Think back to the last time that you have purchased something. What happened when you went from, yeah, I don't know, maybe not, to, yes, I want that? There was a transfer of enthusiasm happening, right? And that can be a friend of yours that got a new gadget, and he's showing you this gadget, and he's so enthusiastic about it that a spark of that enthusiasm gets across to you. And that is what you want out of a pitch, especially a short pitch, like a 3-minute pitch, right? In a 3-minute pitch, you cannot sell, you cannot really persuade yet. What you can do is open the door. You can open the door so that the people in the audience say, this is the man I want to talk to later on. That is the goal of the pitch, to transfer your enthusiasm in such a way. Now, how can you do that very eloquently? Well, there are a couple of ways. One of them is the words that you're using, especially adjectives. If you look at any of Steve Jobs' keynote presentations, right, he used adjectives very well, and he pronounced them. He really lived them, you know. It's words like, even, you know, putting them together, insanely great. You know, who is using that? When I say to you insanely great, you probably immediately think of Steve Jobs. So that's one. The other one is your pitch. The more enthusiastic you get, the more excited you get. Usually we go up with our voice a little bit. The voice becomes a little bit on a higher register. Whereas when we are more relaxed, we want to convey confidence or authority. That's usually when we are going down a little bit on the register. And very similar to that, the third one would be to use the pace in a similar way, right? So usually when we get excited about something, we start to speed up and we convey that enthusiasm, that energy, that excitement. And when we slow down, we convey more of an authority. So play with that a little bit more. Speed up, slow down, put in meaningful pauses, and you will definitely transfer the enthusiasm that you have for your academic organization to those experts in the industry that you want to attract to help you develop your students. All right, and with that, I would like to turn it over back to Nathan, who will probably share another 2-3 great tips with us in the remaining couple of minutes that we have. So please, Nathan.
Okay. The one more thing I wanted to say to Vijay is that I wanted to ask you first a question. Have you been on both sides? You're obviously in academia, but were you also on the industry side?
No, sir. I'm not. I don't have any contact with the industry, so I have only academic experience with me.
Okay. Because if you did, I was going to suggest that perhaps you could start with what Claudio's saying here and just allowing your enthusiasm to bubble over for the fact that you've been on both sides. So you have a unique perspective here on what you're talking about. So one way you could balance that is the fact that while you are in academia 100% of the time, you could have your co-founder be on the industry side, and then together you guys or your team could present that united front of, we know both sides and we just need to get you in here rather than getting us to just send them over to you. Okay. You also had a spelling error on the word graduates on one of your slides, so be sure to check your spelling. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
I think it said gradates, G-R-A-D-A-T-E. Okay. So a couple tips. I suppose to add on top of what Claudio has said, in order for you to transfer your enthusiasm to your audience, you need to get out of your head and into your heart, right? So how do you do that? Well, lots of practice, out loud practice, record yourselves, play it back. Don't just listen for the content that's coming from out of your mouth, but like Claudio said, what's that vocal variety that you're using? Where's the emphasis or where's the lack of emphasis? Where do I need to be a little bit more authoritative? And then where do I need to be a little bit more childlike, where I just get excited about this because I love it? It's okay to go through all of those emotions. I realize I'm an American and I tend to jump around on stage. I'm not trying to make you into an American presenter. However, I know all of you have a heart and you all love what you're doing, or you will eventually love what you're doing. I just want those feelings to come out through your voice and through what Claudia was saying, the variety, the pacing, the pitch, the tone, all of that. And don't forget to pause.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Nathan. Awesome, awesome feedback. I hope that you got something out of this, Vijay. And
yes,
if anybody has some general comments to the meeting, we still have another 2 minutes that we can exchange here, because for us, it also helps to make these meetings so that you get something out of them. We created this meeting for you. Nathan and I, at one point, we sat together and said, how can we help other people, especially in this new world that we are living in, right? And that's why we created Pitch in the Zone and the Presenter Zone. So anything that you can tell us how we can make it better, we are all ears. Please.
Chris.
I have one very, very minor follow-on to Marco's comment about the millions.
Mm-hmm.
In finance, the standard abbreviation for million is MM, where M is 1,000 in Roman numerals. So 1,000 times 1,000 is a million. That's one somewhat standard abbreviation for a million that I've seen. Well, in finance, everybody uses it, but I don't know if that's common elsewhere.
Okay.
Thank you.
One thing I'd like to put on the table is that for those of you on the line here, we've been sourcing our presenters, Claudio and I, through our networks, but we invite all of you to present, to have a presenter come to us here as well. Like, so if you know somebody that's working on a presentation, send them on in and send an email to Claudio or myself, and or get them on like we just did with VJ. That's what we're here for. It doesn't have to just be us girls, so to speak. Invite others.
Sure, sir.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I shouldn't have said that.
Wait a minute.
Sorry about that. I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said that. Oh boy.
Although Nathan is surrounded by women in his home, so.
I sure am.
Yes, we have to maybe add this, that Nathan has not only a very lovely wife, but two lovely twins, and both of them are girls. Well, in the meantime, they are young women.
And I grew up with three sisters, one older,
yes.
two younger.
Yes.
You're
All
still
right.
alive.
So
Good.
any other feedback, Marco?
No, so basically, I'm just to confirm, like we can invite anybody, even share links or things. Like, it's not, because I know we were just starting up. We didn't want to like have too many people without being, I don't want to say prepared, but so now we can spread the word, right?
Absolutely, spread the word. From now on, we would love to see this grow organically, to not have to pester our friends on LinkedIn and Facebook all the time. So, my thought is, if everybody of us brings one other person into one of the future meetings, and then that person brings another person, all of a sudden we really get that critical mass to make this work in a way that we can benefit even more.
Great.
So next week, I'm guaranteeing one presenter from my end. Is it open for the next week, or it has been booked by others?
I'm not sure next week. We might have already somebody, but just, let me know. You have my email address. Let me know the details.
Yes,
I get in touch with him, and it could be either next week or in 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, sure.
All right. And with that, I want to really, really thank all of you for making time. For some of you, it's early in the morning. For some of you, it's after breakfast. And for some of us, it's towards the end of the day. Wherever you are, I wish you a great morning, day, afternoon, evening, and I hope to see you again next week. Ciao for now.
Thank you.